Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings, the card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride.
And today we're going to be discussing the Escort from Edoras. It is a Rohan ally from A Journey to Roscoval, and it's a 2-cost, 2 willpower, no attack, no defense, and 1 hit point card that has the game text. While committed to the quest, Escort from Edoras gets 2 bonus willpower, and then forced after resolving a quest to which the Escort was committed, you have to discard the Escort from Edoras from play. So Grant, what do you think of this card?
When he first came out, I actually liked playing with him. I haven't played with him much since because certain cards like the Horn of Gondor has been nerfed, or errated, I should say.
Well, the errata nerfed the Horn of Gondor.
Well, yeah. I'm just getting the terminology right. The errata Horn of Gondor doesn't trigger off his forced effect. He's 2 extra willpower in certain situations could come in handy, but generally speaking, I don't run Escort since I ended the first cycle of quests. He comes in handy for willpower tests like the hide test in the Black Riders or the Dead Marshes, where you've got to make the escape test values, stuff like that, where you don't actually commit him to the quest, so you just get his standard 2 willpower. He's all right with. The 1 hit point makes him extremely squishy and easy prey for like cards like the Necromancer's Reach, and cards of that sort of ilk. I love his card art, but generally speaking, I've got not much more to say about this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, first, I think it's interesting that this is... actually, I don't want to say that it's interesting. I think that it's perfectly thematic with the game to have this sort of spirit ally in the spirit sphere where you have a lot of willpower. Anytime he quests, you can't choose when to have that ability go off. When he commits to the quest, he gets +2, and then once he's done, he's done. So it's almost like he is guiding people through the wilds into Rohan. What I like about this guy is he can very quickly become a good quester in a Rohan deck when you're running gambling. Gambling, you can bring a card back from your discard pile into your hand, and so every turn you can have a 1-cost if you are running Spirit Theoden. You can have a 1-cost 4 questing character that recurs every round, and that is a super great value. To mitigate that, though, I think the game has done a lot of great planning around this card, because it has one, maybe not around this particular card, but around cards that seem to be a little OP to begin with. Is that, first of all, you have to get rid of it, but second of all, it only has 1 hit point. So if you do bring out a Necromancer's Reach, or you bring out a deal 1 damage to each questing ally or each questing character, all of a sudden that guy's gone. Having said that, you can still bring him back from the discard pile using gambling if you're running him in a Rohan deck. And I know that's a niche use for him, but I can't imagine if you're running Spirit and you need to get through, and you need some willpower, which I don't know if you would need willpower in a Spirit deck, but if you're looking for something you can use that. Now, if you're desperate, you can use him to defend. He can't attack because he has no attack power, but you can chump block with him. Maybe if you're at the end of a big boss battle, like at the Carrack, and you have four trolls to worry about, or you're fighting the Balrog, or whatever it is, you know, you got Nazgul bearing down on you. You can use him to defend, but I think the benefit of him, and it's almost like the game purposely made these allies couple with each other, and I know that they did. That's part of gaming and game designing and things like that. But I think that this particular ally works really well when you want to do a lot of questing and you're using a Rohan deck. So I like the Escort from Edoras, and I also think that your assessment of the card art is really spot on. It's really neat. It's coming through. It looks like it's coming through the forest. Maybe the Fangorn Forest is in the background. So it's just a really neat card. I think, you know, I don't love the card by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's a good. It's not an auto include, definitely, but it's a consideration in Spirit decks.
Yeah, a Rohan Spirit deck, definitely an auto, or at least a semi-auto include. But in Spirit decks, I think I'd rather go for
the Peligir ship captain.
That's the Peligir ship, right? And for one extra cost, I'd rather go for that if I'm running a monosphere, the Spirit Sphere. I'd pick that over the Escort, because the Escort gets discarded after you quest with it, where Peligir, where the shipwright doesn't.
And that's the part that the balancing is really neat. That, you know, you get those 4 big, huge willpower boosts, but you know, you can only use it once, and that's. I think the bang for the buck, though, for two cost, you can bring out and you can quest for 4. You can have 4 willpower. I think that's good. Favor of the Lady is 2 cost for one boost.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it's not. I know that Favor of the Lady is permanent, and this is not permanent. But I think that 2 for 4 is good.
I think Escort from Edoras works better early game. It's when you've got a lot of threatens the staging area. So, likes of the Escape from Dol Guldur, for example, where you've got 3 enemies before setup on those objective cards, that 4 extra willpower for the cost of 1 or 2 could come in very handy. I might have them in a sideboard rather than in the main deck, and then see where it stands for what the quest asks for.
I think that this is a good late game card. I think that you don't bring him out because he's a one-off, so you can't attack and defend with him usually. Well, you can't ever attack with him unless you're going to boost him up for some silly reason that I don't know why you would. But you know, so if you bring him out, you know, maybe late game when you want to get over that hump, when you need to quest the heck out of the stage or the game just to win, you know, this could be that card for you. I don't know. There's not much really more to say. So should we try to ring this guy?
Yeah, let's ring him. Let's ring that scrawny neck of his.
Yeah. So on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is the one card to rule them all, and 10 is the trash bin, Grant, what would you say about the Escort from Edoras?
I'm going to give him a 6. He's not one of my favorite allies. I know he's got uses, like I said, the high tests, escape tests. Anything that uses willpower, he's quite good at, because his force effect does not trigger from using them for those items. But for most of the time, I generally don't run them. So Unfortunately, this card hasn't made the full cut of my deck in, well, a few cycles, to say the least. But he's a good card, and for when he came out, and even now, he's one of those ones I think about including, but I won't auto-include him. How about you, David? What would you ring him as?
I think I agree with you. I agree with the 6. I think he works well in a Rohan deck. I think he's a phenomenal quester in that mechanic. And I don't even want to call it shenanigans because it only requires you to bring out gambling. If you have a Rohan deck where you have Theoden, Spirit Theoden, and even two other heroes, you can. I don't know. It's just. I think he's really powerful, but because he's so nichey, it's tough. But the two willpower for 2 cost is good. I'm sorry, the 4 willpower for the 2 cost is, I just think, great, even just for a turn. So, but again, I don't love him in all my decks. He's not super versatile in a lot of ways. So I give him a 6.
Okay, so that's 6 and 6. So why don't you join us next time where we will be talking about Tactics Aragorn from the Lost Realm.
Have a great day.